Welcome to Rom Wills Money Matters. Write off everything business related. Write off everything business related. Hey, let me just go on a tangent real quick. I wrote, because every time I do these things, I always write down the title and maybe a few notes. And I wrote down the title of this and I spelled it wrong. Of course, y'all not going to see it. Y'all not going to see it in the title, but I'm just laughing about it. But anything, because instead of spelling it W-R-I-T, I was like R-I-G-H-T. Oh, man. Anyway, W-R-I-T-E, everything business related. And because we're in tax season now, and it officially starts, they moved it back a bit, February 12th, you can really start filing. But one of the things, especially for business people, what you should have been doing the past year is keeping receipts. And every single payment you make. Like, for example, I'm mailing books all the time. I keep the receipts from just buying just some Scotch tape to wrap the bubble wrap in, of course, for the envelopes, the special boxes that I send the stuff in. That's one. Of course, I've used music on like some of my, many of my videos, particularly music I had to get licenses for, especially on my Vimeo sites. So I can write that off, and pieces of equipment like my microphone that I definitely use on the job for business purposes only. I write that off. Depending on how you use your house, depending on how you use it, like say you have, you can actually write that off too. There's a whole bunch of things. You can write off driving. If you have a business where you have to deliver stuff, you can write off gas money, stuff like that, the vehicle costs, if you use it, everything. Just try to write every time. And I'm going to tell you what, even if it seems small, write it off. Let that tax consultant, if you use a tax consultant, let them tell you that you can't. Seriously, it's better. I'm going to tell you what, it's better to have more stuff than not enough stuff. If you have a business lunch with somebody and y'all discuss business, keep that receipt. Everything, write off everything. Because that's important when you're doing taxes. You got to understand, you making a certain amount of money. Let's say you making $100,000 since, that six-figure thing goes around. Like you own a business, you making $100,000, which incidentally, I know there's plenty of talk about $1 million businesses and stuff. Most businesses, if they can make a basic six figures, they doing good. Seriously, they doing good. Yeah, you want to make millions and stuff, but it takes a lot. Because let's just be real, a lot of people are just small business people. They either got, sole proprietorships, LLCs, something very small, very, very small. So, write off the fees for your business license. Well, yeah, write that off too, or try to. Everything business related, write it off. So that's an important thing. But or try to anyway. I'll put it like that. That's the thing. Even small. Like I said, let the tax consultant tell you, oh, can't write that off. But at the same time, if you keep everything, you keep all your bills and everything business related, they could surprise you. Don't overlook any single thing. You want to think about it like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I had a phone call, long distance phone call. Oh, that was business related? Write it off. Like I said, let a business consultant tell you. In fact, if you can, tax consultant, if you can, especially as your business get bigger, you need to have one anyway. Now, if you're at a point where you can actually hire an accountant or something just to work on your business, well, one, you're doing very good, and they can take care of that. But you want to do that because One of the beauties of business is you can lessen your tax burden with what you do. Because let me get back to what I was saying. Okay, you're making six figures. Of course, in business, you don't get that whole six figures. You good if you get 50,000 of that for your personal use. Seriously, you doing real good. People say, well, 50,000. And I'm just throwing out the number. It's like, well, that don't seem a lot. That means you lost half the stuff. But wait a minute. If you had to pay for maybe a vehicle, like you're a delivery service or something, you had to pay for a vehicle, or you had a storefront or a kiosk, you got to pay for that. You have to pay for product in a lot of cases. You have to pay for product, and that's important. Unless, even if you have a service, you might have to pay for stuff to use for it. You know, you might have to pay for little things to use as part of that service. You know, business cards, stuff like that. Those, you can write that off, the payments. You know, you could pay it off. And even with a lot of stuff, even if you're using the tax form, the business tax form, you're filling out like, profit or loss for business, they have a section you can write in stuff. They have a section, even if it's not listed, because I use it every single time. It's like, oh, they ain't writing it. They don't have it on here. Let me just write it off. Let me just write it on here, write it off. So there's plenty of stuff. That's very important because this is the tax season, and just the reality, you're going to pay some taxes. And, you know, it is what it is. But you can lessen the blow by trying to get as many deductions as possible. You can pay for, like for me, sometimes I have to order copies of my book or some of my books. It's going on a tax form. I'm paying for it. Like anything you pay for, anything you have to pay for. Even with some of these sites, these online platforms, sometimes it depends on the platform. Sometimes they'll just send you maybe a 1099K for just the money they sent you. Sometimes they just send you everything. You got to figure out what in there was used for fees and stuff like that. Write off everything. Like I said, everything business related. And it's important, it's related to whatever's sent to the IRS if you're using an online platform or something. But write off everything business related. It may seem, like I said, it might seem obvious, but it's interesting because I've just talked with people, and I've quite a few times, and they'll say, "Yeah, I'm doing this." I'll say it's business related. Be sure and write it off. Save that receipt. Oh, we having this a business meeting. We having a lunch or something. This a business lunch. You know, try to write off everything as best as possible. Now, and like I said, talk to a tax consultant because sometimes, you know, there's some property, like business property, you know, there might be a depreciation there or something like that. But look at every single thing, too. Look at every single thing. And that's just in general, even if you're not in business. Here's the thing, too. If, say, you just have a regular 9-to-5 job, your money's taken out and everything. When you look at that deductions, like they have the standard personal deductions standardized, like if you had a household, single, whatever. Also look at itemized deductions and go through that and see which one is more. Like you might get, like say if you had a household, I think you get about $18,500 for, you know, just a standard deduction. But if you own your house or something, and, you know, you did certain things and you can write off the mortgage and everything, it's probably more. It's actually better. So look at everything. And like I say, if you can't fail, don't be shy. Don't be shy about going to a tax professional. Don't be shy about it. All right? So anyway, that's all I have for now. Let's go make that money.